Yeah, we started the early stage operations grant really because we saw this gap in funding for folks who've gotten into this work because they care deeply about a particular issue, particular struggle, or something that they see in their community. And so they start these nonprofits with all the best intentions and really trying to address this need that they see that's urgent for them. The secondary piece is then you have to learn how to run a nonprofit, right? So you know you want to do the mission work, you care about the mission work, but now you have to raise money and you need a budget, you need to do all these other things. And that's a lot more difficult to raise money for. And so we started the early stage nonprofit program with the express purpose of trying to support small, starting or growing nonprofits in a way to help provide some general operating dollars to help them do that kind of planning around their operations and their structure. To give them the space in the room to really be able to put their attention to like how do they build out their infrastructure. We provide additional support with technical assistance, so that might be around budgeting, that might be around HR, that might be around thinking about programming and how do you align that and connect that and how do you connect that to then evaluation. Then we also do that individual work and support with them for them to be able to identify what their needs are.
When I think about the early stages operation project, I will tell you that it was really challenging, I think, just in the beginning, because I think when you start up as a nonprofit, you kind of are very isolated. You know, you have your ideas around what you think the mission and vision will be for your organization. And then this opportunity comes along to support you and provide funding. And I think when I thought about that, I'm like, well, this sounds really cool. We'll have some opportunity to gain some resources. We'll get some funding to support our infrastructure of our organization. And then I joined it and discovered that it wasn't just about getting funding and having an opportunity to work on your capacity building for your organization. It really became about recognizing the power of community and understanding that partnership is really important, and establishing an organization and working alongside people that are at the same space that you are. And I thought that was really amazing, because sometimes you do this work and you're kind of by yourself on these paths, and then you discover, oh no, there's multiple of us trying to figure this thing out. And I think having this opportunity really gave us a new lens in terms of how we can better do the work, but do the work alongside other organizations that are trying to do it too.
I think nonprofits that are a good fit for this opportunity are those that are, again, deeply committed to the work that they're doing, who have missions that are well aligned with the mission of the Steelcase Foundation, and who are really at a kind of a pivotal point in their organizational growth where they're ready to spend time to build out infrastructure to sustain their organization. And we know that that's not true for all organizations. Some organizations are just where they need to be and or don't have the capacity to kind of invest in the work of building infrastructure.
Just the importance of working with other organizations, coming here and having that sense of togetherness or community is really important, and you really understand that you may be going through something, but so is another organization. That's really empowering to know that you're not by yourself, and then learning different resources or things from other nonprofits. So when we come here, we share different resources that maybe I didn't know, or we learn things that from other people.
I think every session is really fun. Like I always look forward to these sessions just because Katie does an amazing job at facilitating. The cohort, the group that we have, are just people that like to share and talk. So it's always not just about the content that we're learning, but also what other organizations are bringing and sharing with us. I think that's one of the pieces that, and we made as a suggestion to do that more often, just because we all come from different backgrounds and we all come from different levels. And so we learn a lot from just listening to what others are doing and how they're succeeding, but also how not succeeding as well. And we also get to share those ideas.
I think it's really easy when you think about starting a nonprofit or a foundation. You have these really big dreams of these really big things that you want to change in the world, and that can be intimidating. So, I think starting with like a small group of who you're trying to serve and what location, like we're looking at Kent County, okay, what can we do in Kent County? And then expanding out to Michigan and expanding out more. So, I think just being willing to start small. Starting small doesn't mean you're not gonna reach the big picture.
I think one thing that we've really learned is how much we didn't know, and also how much we did know. In a nonprofit world, you can get so siloed where it's so easy to just lose objectivity because you are just so focused on what you're doing. And I think you're in a cycle of questioning yourself pretty regularly, especially when you're new. And something that I really loved of our learning and our work session so far is that we were much farther along than we thought we were, and we were doing the right steps. We just weren't taking every step the way that we could. And so I think that one of the biggest takeaways is we learned things, but we were also able to champion what we already knew. But then we were able to be led and mentored to take those right steps.
I would say trust the process. Again, when we build these organizations and found nonprofits, we're trying to address a problem or problems and issues that we see. And there are many times where we don't know about the backhand, the administrative, really building that sustainable process. And then for foundations, I would say be open to investing in newer nonprofits. One of the things that I've learned personally is we've tried to keep our approach culturally relevant with who we serve, and we're very open to it, but we're encouraging communities, funders, individual donors to see us as at potential, meaning that they see that we can make community impact, but willing to take an investment to see how we continue that community impact.
This actually, you come into the door, they're like, you know what to do. We're going to give you some other folks to give you some perspective. And by the way, we're going to help fund it. To me, that is, I really wish more foundations, philanthropic organizations would take would really pay attention to what the nonprofits are saying, because nonprofits have been saying that for years, right? And so this to me is a unique selling proposition for this foundation.
I think just knowing that we have somebody like Steelcase to really know what we're doing is really important to the community as well. We can say all day long, this is important to the community, but when we actually have an organization that believes that it is important to the community, I think it's wonderful.